All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for coming. We're gonna go over our week. The way I've broken it down is we're going to go over some trades that we took last week. We're gonna go over our learning, then we'll go over the trades I'm looking for next week, and then somewhere in there we'll talk about the sectors that we talked about and how they've done.
I'm watching two shows at once.
All right, everyone's been muted. At the end, I'll open room for questions. So let me share the screen. All right. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Let me share the screen one more time. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so let's talk about some of the sectors that did amazing well. We'll talk about chips. I think I've been very, very clear on AMD and how this thing can go parabolic. Our first level was 170. We got that. You should be up around 100%. The second level for this is $184. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to actually talk about how you can play it. If you are a large account, what I've done is I'm holding half. The trade that we're in for a lot of new people that are coming in, we're in the October 18 170 call, so they're already in the money. There's an AI event next week. So for large account, so on my large account, I'm holding half a position. For my small account, I'm completely out. And the idea behind that is you don't want to have too much risk over the weekend. So if it's a large account, I wouldn't do anything. If this goes to 185, those options they go about 500%, which I think it goes there and might go even higher. And I'll explain you in a second. For small accounts, what I would do is if let's say you sold at a 60, 70%, I would look at 175 calls for this week or 180 calls for next week. I don't think there's gonna be a pullback. I'm gonna keep reporting you guys with the flow if I see anything. This is a 5 minute, let's do 1 hour candle. This is a 1 minute, 1 hour candle, and I don't see much of a pullback. So once we get the pre-market levels, I'll let you know because if I add on my small account, I'm gonna call it out. But ideally, we want to see this pull back to 166. I don't know if that happens. If it does happen, that's a no-brainer. 166, 165, I'll add. If not, then I'm gonna be watching the pre-market levels and letting you guys know what the flow is coming. But this thing can absolutely go crazy. The event is next week. It's the AI event. That's why I added this, but the stock looked like it had a lot of momentum going on. This is how the daily chart looks like. This is where we took profits for small accounts. If this now breaks out, I'll give you guys the levels here. 177.87, and then the end of the supply is 184. Sorry, not sure why I did that. So that's the level I'm watching for AMD. Now, we don't always have to look at AMD. We could also look at NVIDIA. NVIDIA is, this is a pretty, I was going over this chart this morning. This is a very, very nice bull flag, and it's getting tighter and tighter. I think okay. So I said something that I haven't talked about. I said there's a reason why this can keep going up. So when the market moves up like this, a lot of what we say is, it's gonna pull back. It's gonna pull back. We've been seeing it's gonna pull back since September. The right tail, which is what we are at, this one has the deadliest melt up. A lot of people here are sitting on sidelines because they're like, you know what, the market's run up so much. I'm gonna wait for puts to add, or I'm gonna wait for a pullback to it. The market keeps going up and up and up. And at some point, it's causing them, missing out. End of the year, funds have to at least beat SPX or SPY minimum if you're gonna get new clients. So at that point, they're just thinking, okay, we need to kind of chase at this point, which is what you're seeing here. This melt up could take you to all-time high. Here's what I want you to think about. We weren't going to do rate cuts. Then we started talking about rate cuts every single month. And then we're doing rate cuts 2 months before elections. Now they're saying another rate cut coming for 25 basis point. I don't know if it's a coincidence or it's perfectly planned for the elections. You guys can be the judge, but the market seems to be perfectly doing amazing. The strength is there. Different sectors are doing really well. So the breadth of the market's beautiful. There is a potential that the pullback happens around OPEX, and if it doesn't happen that, it happens just before elections, and a lot of people are forced into getting it. So if you have to understand, I'll repeat this. If you are an institution, if you are a fund and you want to recruit new clients, they will ask you or look at KPIs. The first KPI is, are you beating the minimum SPY expectations? If SPY did 15% for the year and your fund's only done 12%, you're better off going to SPY rather than paying that 1.8% or whatever the fee for the fund is. So that's what the problem is. That's where the chasing is going to happen. Another thing I'm going to talk about, and we'll lead into our conversation for other stuff. I'm going to keep repeating that we're not responsible for the market, what the market does. We are responsible for what we do. In September, I told you expect a pullback. I showed you guys the stats, 10 years, it's been red. I did not play puts. Market kept going up, we kept buying. Then I'm like, you know what, October after first, it's going to be a pullback. I don't not see any put flow. I keep seeing call flow, so I haven't switched to the put side. So as a trader, we need to keep changing our opinion and our thesis with the information we're getting. You can't be stubborn in this market. So far, so good. Big thing is do not be holding a bag. So AMD trimmed half, we're good. Nvidia looks like 130 is coming, and this thing can happen pretty fast. We're closed right on the supply here. 124.44. This 127.34. So weekly 130s aren't bad for this trade. So that's what I'm watching. I like to add more time. So I would do 130 for 2 weeks out. So October 18, that's what I would do. But chips are looking really good. And every single time chips have taken off, crypto's taken off, the market's taken off, which we're gonna jump into. But before that, I want to talk about last week. I told you guys about three names: BWXT, Oklo, and SMR. They supply nuclear components, and I'm very, very thorough with my thesis. So if we go over, I'm just gonna pull the weekly candle so I can show you how they've done. We're already in Oklo. Oklo calls are for January are up 100%. So this is Oklo. 787 is Monday open price. It closed at 11:30 something. I told you it has a good short interest. This thing can keep going to 15-ish. That was one ticker I gave you. The other one was BWXT. Again, weekly candle. I'm not in, I couldn't find any liquid chain for options on this. So what I did was, this is up $10. I added stocks. You can see I called it out. The next one is SMR. I didn't do anything about it, but this thing is also up. So please pay attention if I'm giving you something. I've done a lot of research. I've talked to a lot of people that are expert in that field. That's how I do it. I just don't look at what I know. I look at other areas too. So if we can catch something big, Oklo Jams are up 100%. Oxy, let's talk about it because I know one of the members requested it. This is energy. So last week we did mentorship mastermind. So I got a message from someone saying, can you talk about what you were talking in terms of put your entry where you put your stop loss at? So I'll show you this. I think I made a video on this too. We took this trade at the weekly 200-day moving average, not daily, weekly. So this is a very tight trade. If you guys see I'm gonna try finding my explanation for this trade. What was the trade? I'm just gonna see if I can find it. I forgot the option chain that, okay, there you go. Oxy, it's called a core play, which we talked about in the mentorship mastermind. Core plays are very high reward, low risk trades. 240 fill. Look at where we caught it. Gave you guys a chart live because otherwise you wouldn't believe me. It's 53.48. So this is what I meant by these are very good trades. What I do is I wouldn't always put my stop at where I entered because that doesn't give me any room to move. So what I did was I cut where the low of the day prior to that. So I went pretty good in terms of my stop. The risk reward on this is 1 to 8.44. This is a weekly candle. So this thing has gone, if I go daily, it's pretty good too. Like this thing is heading to our profit taking pretty soon, 58, and it's going to be up 200% if we get to 58, and you have about 7 months to go. Beautiful, beautiful trade. The next trade we took was AR. The risk reward of this is one. Sorry, I deleted that by accident. I don't think I can do that. Hold on. I have to take it out. You know what? It's fine. 4.27. Insane risk reward. You guys understand that most people take trades with risk reward of 1 to 1 and think that's insane. These trades are hard to find, but we literally caught these trades at the bottom. So this trade AR should be up. How much was it? I think it's up to about 60%, and this is for January. Look, it's seasonality trade, it's a core play, all that stuff. That's why it's an A plus setup. The difference between this and Oxy is this is already uptrend, but if you look at Oxy, it wasn't an uptrend. You know what I mean? This is called, I'll ask you, what is this called? What did we do here? I'm gonna wait to see what you guys think what we did here. Come on, you guys, tell me, what do you guys see here? What kind of trade is this? There are no wrong answers. All right, this is the bottom picking trade. Correct, reversal. So what we do when we take these kind of trades is we do it at a very weak key support. And then what we do is we buy a lot of time. In this case, I bought a lot of time. I usually don't buy this much time. There was flow and everything too. And the reason why you buy time is sometimes the reversal isn't this explosive. It's a lot of consolidation, but I saw money moving into energy, so I saw a lot of risk reversal trades coming in on not Oxy, on energy, so that's why I took it. So beautiful, beautiful trade. I don't think any trade is red right now, with the exception of Tesla. So this is the trade. I'm holding it. I was down 55% or something. I posted it. Then at the high, I was down 18%. I think I closed down 30% on this trade. So beautiful, beautiful trade. I think this can still easily get 300. Thing with Tesla is this is one of those high volatility ticker. Plus, they have an event going on. I expected this, and this is why when you're going in a binary event, you don't go heavy. And if this trade works out on Monday, meaning if we get a gap up or if we get a run, this is going straight to 258. At 258, you're roughly going to be up about 50%. And if you wonder why, it's because once we get there, you're going to see FOMO catch in and people are going to give crazy, outrageous price targets. Goldman Sachs, everyone's going to start upgrading it. Goldman Sachs was the reason why I was a little bit hesitant that this can get a pullback. Goldman Sachs was telling everyone to buy it. That's never ever good. Like, there's always some reason why they're probably getting some part out of their calls before the event, but this is a pretty big deal. Like, out of everything Tesla's done, this robo-taxi news is pretty big. One of the things was one of their executives left too. So that's why we got that red candle that day, but they beautifully bought it back. I should have bought more calls at this. I'll show you what this is. Hold on. Let's go weekly. So this was a 200-day on a weekly, and I saw that. Should have added it, didn't, because I had a lot of positions open. Like I had a lot of positions open. So from Tesla, let's move on to crypto. Look, my opinion is I don't like the ticker coin. It moves really bad. If you are playing short term, you're gonna lose a lot of money. MSTR is a little bit more expensive, but it moves wonderful. Like if you have time on this thing, I was looking at November 200 calls, very expensive. But if I show you guys daily, we keep coming around this 168, 165 area. We keep crossing it. I'm gonna see if we get there again. I'm going to put alert at 168. This is not for small accounts by any means. I'm looking at 200 November calls are pretty much, I think, $700 right now. I think 350 if we get there because moves a lot, but I think much better than coin. So watching MSTR for small accounts, I'll give you something to take a look at Mara. I'll show you something. Most people think it's bearish. Let me ask you guys something. What is this? What kind of chart pattern is this? It's a bear flag. A lot of people think it's bearish, it's not. It's whichever way it breaks. I'm looking at this thing again. November 20 calls would work. I'm gonna stick with MSTR though. So that's that. Okay. These are some of the trades we took. So let me go back to couple. So KWeb, let's talk China too, and then I'm gonna overflow. So KWeb, it's a spec play. Spec play is speculation play. Um, I will tell you this. When it comes to China, this thing has gone parabolic. Now, adding, we're chasing. I think it'll still keep going up, but you need to, I have to add a small position and buy a lot of time. So I'm in November position. I was thinking of adding more on Friday. I haven't looked at China, but I have a very strong feeling they're gonna gap up. China was closed all last week, so there wasn't much volume. This week, you should see a big run in China. With that, I'm going to show you a ticker that keeps getting flow. So Friday, I don't know why, but the reports on Friday come really late. So they bought Meta. Anything you see green, that's all bullish. If it's going to be puts, there it'll be colored red, so makes our life a lot easier. So they sold puts for Meta for November. Microsoft, I would be careful. It's not getting the move it should. I don't know why. This is a ticker that's not bad. If you don't have any exposure and we get a flat open, Tiger April 12, if you're like, I want some sort of exposure, this thing at least had 30, $40 million in flow. What else do we have? Coin, June, coin keeps getting flow. It hasn't done much. FSLR, this is a pretty big position for FSLR. I'm staying out, but this is all I looked at. Just quickly going over. So the Tesla position's down 30%. AMD is doing really well. AR, Oxy, all doing fantastic. If you have Avgo calls, I would personally hold them. I think Avgo can keep going up. Okay, so I'm just covering all the stuff we've gone over. Anyone that wants mentorship mastermind recording, just give me this week. I'm going to be uploading it for the mentorship folder. Another thing, so we are going to be doing the 5-day live workshop next month. It's supposed to happen this month, but I've moved it to November because I didn't spend any time preparing for it. So I need at least month and a half because I'm always introducing new material. This time it's gonna have position sizing as one of the days we're gonna talk about different positions, what to do with them, how to trade them. So that 5-day live challenge is likely happening on November 17th. I'm gonna officially announce a date this week. Apart from that, I'm not sure if you guys are aware of what's happening in Florida. Um, they are, I don't know all areas, but there were, I just before coming on, they were talking about evacuation and all that. It's pretty sad in terms of the market, though, if you want to look at it. The name that you want to watch is Home Depot. Most likely gaps up, but if we look at The hourly, we're sitting at 408.20. If that breaks up, I'm pretty sure we are gonna open higher. Weekly 420s can break out here. 450 is possible too with everything that's going on. Keep an eye on this name. I definitely will. Um, Apart from that, one more ticker, and then I'm gonna take questions, and then I'm gonna tell you what my play of the week is. So insane amount of flow on this one. So this, I would buy time. I like December or January 30 calls. They're gonna be expensive, not gonna be cheap, but this thing moves heavy. And that's the stuff that I look for where there is volatility, but then I add time to keep my risk managed safe. It's not like crypto, it's a matter of time it's gonna break up. I don't know if you guys know this, UK announced today that they're not gonna be taxing crypto gains. So gonna be watching how that plays out, but I think crypto is breaking out right now. Let's just pull the charts. Oh, I believe this is the live chart right now. We're 63,000. Let's go daily. We're up. So this is Saturday and Sunday, right? So we're up about 1,500 points on the weekend. All right, let me pause the recording here for a second, and we're gonna go over plays with the members. Just give me a sec.